Hey, I'm Yoad. Welcome to my studio. It's good to see you here again. I love mixing on analog desks, and I've mixed thousands of songs using analog mixers. Just love it. The problem is, it's a nightmare. If we need to go back to a mix, we have to do recalls, we have to recall all the outboard, and the huge benefits for mixing in the box. And the main one for me is the ability to revisit the mix. So I will work on a mix for a few hours, set it up, go and listen to it on my headphones, in the car, make some mental notes, get comments from the producer, the artist, the label, and then it's really easy to tweak. In the meantime, I can work on other projects. I always have a few projects on the go, some mixing, some production, Dolby Atmos, developing audio products. So I need to have access to my studio, and being able to recall and just load the session is invaluable for me. I do use the desk for recording because these mic preamps are unbelievable. The dynamics are amazing. This is an old Neve desk from 81, and it's just amazing, and I love it. But these days it makes much more sense for me to mix in the box, and if I need to, I can run it through the desk for summing. Today I'm going to talk about bridging the sonic gap between the sound of analog desks and mixing in the box. One of the ways of doing that is to have channel emulation running on every track in our mix. We have this song which currently doesn't have any channel treatment in terms of analog coloration.
This time I'm off the line, disrupting what's reality. It's stuck within a shrine. Decay.
This song has quite a few tracks, as you can see, and we're going to insert some plugins on each channel in order to give it warmth, depth, the sound and the feeling you get when everything goes through its own channel on an analog mixer. So let's see what our options are. I'm going to select all the audio tracks, and then I'm going to insert a channel plugin. Let's start with this one. I love this processor and I use it a lot, and it sounds like that.
Echoes flooding through the deck now.
And now we're gonna bypass everything.
Moving to where the lights turning out. Switching from motion up
And in
tempo.
again.
Kill the lights, this time we turn it off.
Bypass.
Na 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 na.
So what I'm hearing is that it tightens everything. It kind of grabs everything and makes it just better in a way. Now, if I wanted to change the settings, I would either have to go one by one and copy and paste or something like that, or I can change it on one of the tracks. I have some presets here of settings that I like. Save it as the default preset. Then I'm going to delete all these instances and reinstate them. Now each channel will recall the default preset that I just saved, effectively meaning that it loads it on all the tracks.
This time I'm off the line,
Bypass.
disrupting what's reality. It's stuck within a shrine.
For this song, I think I prefer
Duality.
this setup.
One step
Bypass.
closer to the dance floor. Draw the air out of the speakers. Throw the dark into
Just more. Okay, let's move on to a different processor. So let's look at another way of tweaking the parameters in real time rather than overwriting the default preset, loading, deleting, and all that. So what I can do here is insert the plugin I want on the master fader first, tweak it to the way I want it to sound, and then save it as the default preset and insert it on all the channels. So now we're hearing it on the master track. Bypass. in again. Now, I'm sure you can hear that it's more muddy, it's more kind of crunched in together. And that is because all these processors introduce harmonic distortion. And there's a very big difference between having individual harmonic distortion processing on each channel or have it going on the sum of all the tracks together. And I'm going to demonstrate this difference. This is just a pure sine wave, no harmonics whatsoever. Now, if I introduce some harmonics to it and distort it, it sounds like that. And if I then play a few notes, each one will get its own harmonic enhancement, if you like, but they don't have any intermodulation going because each one has its own filter, which is now driven, as opposed to, let's go back to the sine wave, and now let's engage a distortion on the sum of all these voices. It's a slightly different distortion and harmonic structure, but it will demonstrate what I'm trying to show here. So if I play notes individually, they sound pretty clean, but if I now play a few notes together, we get intermodulation. And it sounds completely different to this, where they stay pure because they are distorted individually. And the same applies to our channels. If I add harmonics to the master channel, then we'll have a lot of intermodulation and will muddy up the mix and make it sound unpleasant, unless we want that type of sound, which is fine, but then it will have to be a lot less aggressive. If I do it individually on each track, I can go a lot further with the amount of harmonics I can introduce. Let's go back to this processor. So now I can tweak it. It sounds distorted. The main thing to remember is that I need to compare the level of the input and the output. So when I bypass, the level has to stay the same. So let's try to do something like that. Sometimes it's hard to really get the same perceived loudness because of the added harmonics, because everything sounds more squashed. Let's leave it at these settings. Now I'm going to save this as the default. I'm going to remove it from the master track, and then I'm going to select all the channels and insert this plugin on each channel individually. Let's hear it.
This time I'm off the line.
Bypass.
Disrupting what's reality. It's stuck within a shrine.
Maybe it's too distorted. For this kind of track, it actually sounds quite good.
One step
I've also covered the topic of adding harmonic distortion to digital synths in this video. Let's look at another approach, which is using tape emulators. I really like this processor. It's very simple but very effective. I already saved the default preset.
This time I'm off the line.
Bypass.
Disrupting what's reality. It's stuck within a shrine. Decaying into
Gives it substance.
one step closer to the dance floor. Draw
Bypass.
the air into the speakers. Throw the dark into the mirror.
If you're enjoying this video so far, then let me know what kind of content you would like to see in the future. Maybe a mix breakdown, mix preparation, mastering, Dolby Atmos, immersive, more synth-related content, more guitar-related content, just let me know. Now let's go for another type of processing, which is actually analog desk channel emulation. So here we have the NLS processor. When we made this plugin, we actually modeled 32 channels of 3 desks. So we had Spike's SSL desk, we had Mike Hedges' old TG desk from Abbey Road, and we had this specific desk where we modeled the sound of 32 individual channels. Here you can see that every instance of the plugin recalls a different channel. So the channels are individually set across the different inserts in sections of 32. So once we filled up the first 32 channels, we'll start again. Here I have maybe 60 tracks or something like that. So this is 15. This is 3 again. The stereo tracks will get 2 channels. So this is like 3 and 4, etc. The other benefit I have here, apart from selecting 3 different desks, is that I can assign the desks individually for different sections. So if I want to process the drums through SSL, then I will select all the drum tracks and set them all to group 1. And then I can select all the keyboards, set them to go through the TG desk, and the guitar and vocals will go through this desk. So now effectively I have 3 desks playing this mix. The drums are all going through SSL, and we can see the different channels. The keyboards are going through the TG desk, and the guitars and vocals are going through this desk, which is the Neve desk. And let's hear how that sounds.
This time I'm off the line, disrupting this reality. Is stuck within a shrine, decaying in duality. Na, na, na,
I can bypass each desk individually. So now let's hear it only on the drums. I love the punch that SSL kind of gives drums. And I love the sound of Neve on guitars and vocals because it's just kind of crispy and tasty. And the TG on the synths, which gives them depth. So there you have it. This is my way of emulating the sound of analog desks when mixing in the box. If you like this video, you know what to do, and I will see you on the next one.